Welcome to Star Campus. We start now. The topic of today's webinar is Markups Count Towards Quality 2. How to ensure that all of the markups are correct. Thank you for joining today. My name is Elke Fuchs and I work at the training and support team at Star Language Technologies and Solutions. This company is a subsidiary of the Star Group. This webinar shall show you how to work with markups in order to ensure that they are correct and therefore ensure quality of your translation. The agenda today: first, we will have a look at the display of markups in the language pair. Then, let's have a look at the most important markup types. And as a next step, we will assign markups. I will show you methods. And after that, since we then have something to check, we will check markups, and I will show you methods for that. There should be questions during this webinar. I will be happy to answer them at the end of this webinar. For posing your questions, just use the chat panel. During the webinar, I will have this chat panel closed. There will be enough time at the end of this webinar to take care of all your questions. Okay, let's start at this wonderful summer-like morning here. Start Transit. Like always, it's the select user role dialog who opens first. And like for all the other webinars, I have defined my own user role because I want to have my special view and my special window set. One of the recent projects is this one. And I open up the language pair. This project, this job is about a Word file, and we also have a PDF coming with it, which you can see here. I have here my PDF viewer on the right side, and my fuzzy source window is down here. It's about markups today. How can we recognize markups in our text? Just hide the target for the moment and concentrate source file. Markups are displayed in blue. Everything which is blue in our language pair is markup. This belongs to our color system in Transit. Everything which is blue is markup. Green is always the source, and red is always the target. We have here the blue little numbers, which are called markup ID numbers, and mostly this is the default display for markups in the language pair. This helps that markups are there, but not so prominent. We know that they're there, but they are not disturbing so much our translation work. Then, what kind of markups can we encounter during our work? Basically, it's only those markups which can occur within text. Okay, all the other markups are always hidden by default, so we can concentrate on the markups within a sentence. So what do we have here? Let's have this as an example. We have here the two words all over. They are formatted in bold. In bold and formatted in bold, these two markup ID numbers are responsible. And this is a so-called markup pair because it consists of a start and an end. And everything which is between start and end will carry the formatting. It is as easy as that. So basically, we have here a markup pair. Then We also can have point markups. They embrace a string which needs to be formatted. They just have a position. And such a point markup can we find here. And this point markup corresponds to, if you have a look at the PDF, here at this footnote. Okay, so this sentence has a footnote at the end. And when I click here in segment number 9, our synchronized PDF viewer will carry us to, which is always at the end of the page. So a point markup does not embrace a string. It always just has a position, and it needs to be there. That this sentence is recognized as the content of a footnote, it needs to carry this markup. You can encounter this kind of pair markup. When a formatting, or better said, two formattings belong to one string and it has the same start and the same end position, we group them. We just put them together, that we do not have to bother about two single ones, so we just have to deal with a group. Basically it. We have pairs and points, and pairs can be grouped. And of course, there can be a mixture of both types in a segment. Here we have the formatting green. Green is formatted, underlined, as you see here. It corresponds to this. And red belongs to an index. It's also underlined. Yeah? And the index entry is here. This means this translation will be gathered at the position where at my Word document the index needs to be located. We have pair and points, and that's about it. It is as easy as that. Before we go ahead and try to check markups, we first have a look on how we get our markups into our translation. How do we transfer what is here in the source into our translation in the target? We talk about we assign markups to our translation. Okay. I will show you the method that we insert the markup on the fly of our translation. I just go to segment number 5 and start with my translation. It is German. Äpfel wachsen, all over. I want to translate all over with überall. And now I just press Control and the ID number and continue typing, nothing else. And now the markup is built, and everything which I type between the start and the end will be formatted in bold. Überall is the corresponding translation to all over, and so I'm fine here. And I leave the markup by pressing the cursor arrow to the right. And here we go. And then we can continue. Überall. We're done. In short, that all over is überall in my translation, and it carries the formatting. Let's go ahead. I can confirm here with alternate insert. Next one. Now I want to translate big. As I said before, when we have two pair markups at the very same start and at the very same end, we group them. And therefore, I now just press Control 1 for the first one. Typing. And since they are grouped, Both of them are inserted with one stroke. Pairs and continue with my translation. I confirm as translated. Next one. Here we have a fuzzy match for this sentence. Okay, let me just make the fuzzy source window a little bit bigger that we can see everything. Okay, little repetition. Here we have the path leading to the file where this match is coming from. This is how we have the sentence in our reference material. This is our new sentence, and this is what Transit can give us from the reference material. That we have a formatting change and a textable change. They is now pairs, and the new sentence carries more formatting or a different one. We have a footnote in the reference material, which is here, but we don't need it. We only need the formatting here. Yes, you can do here. Your text will change. And in German, take it over like you always do with alternate enter. And then put in your formatting here. And it's the same method you can use. You just mark what you want to assign and just press the ID number, which is 1 here. And since in German we split our verbs, we have two parts for can have. We have können and haben. This markup twice. To the source language. Can have corresponds to können and haben. Now you have seen that we can duplicate markups. For this kind of markups, Transit is really flexible since the target language can afford this, can require to duplicate markups, and Transit allows you to do this. Mark this as translated. Segment number 17, I want to show you another method of assigning your markups into your translation. Maybe if there are more than 1 or 2 markups in one sentence, you want to concentrate on your translation first and then assign the formatting to your translation. So you could work like this. Rot und gelb sein. So we have our translation, and now we want to take care of the formatting. You can work with the help of the formatting mode. Markup assignment mode. Please apologize. Here, which we find here in processing. And the markup assignment mode is here. We don't have to grab the mouse, really. It's not necessary. We can just press F9. You can see here, we now have started the markup assignment mode, and F9 makes the markup assignment mode working for the very segment we're in. So what we can do is we can just mark the translation for green, as since the markup mode highlights in blue what is the first formatting here in this segment, and we'll press F11 to assign it. Automatically, the mode goes to the next markup which needs to be assigned, and this is the point markup here. I don't have to mark anything or highlight anything. I just place my cursor to the position and press F11, and here we go. Automatically, Transit brings us to the third markup, which needs to be assigned, and all what we need to know is that gelb is the translation of yellow, and press F11. As soon as we have assigned all the markups, the markup assignment mode turns off automatically. In this way, we our translation first, and now we have assigned all the markups to our translation. I mark this segment as translated now. To the next one. Sind Birnen. We could also use the markup assignment mode. We press F9, the cursor on the position, at the position where we need to put our markup, and then press F11. And the markup mode turns off. But we can also just vary with our methods. I just deleted it with the backspace key and can just insert it with Control and the ID number 1 and the cursor to the right. We do not have to stick to one method to get our markups into our translation. We can vary. Just use the method which might suit the best for the situation or your personal needs. I will mark this segment now as translated. And if we use the markup assignment mode, I press F9. The ID number is highlighted, and here this text is also shown in blue. This means that this is a field which will be filled out automatically when I has created this document. And if I press now F11, the very same date will be inserted. Those kind of markups can also be fields like, the page, as we see further down. I mark this as translated, like this one. A point markup, and this is a typical field for the page number in documents, which is all the way. Everybody knows that in Word, these kind of numeration is done automatically. Okay, we have assigned all the markups. Well, we hope that we did, that we assigned all the markups to our translation. Step is to check the markups. We have, which has to do with reviewing a translation, can be found here. For the review, maybe we do not the PDF viewer anymore, so I just let it float out. Maybe we don't need the fuzzy match window anymore, so I let it float out. I really want to stress that Transit allows you to have your working environment exactly the way you need it. You are not forced to use the windows, the settings, as Transit gives you the standards. No. Make them work for your needs. So I just have let the source float out. You see here. And also I have also flowed out the viewer here. Swoop. Okay. So. But now we want to review our translation. All the review can be found here. Options which are available for a formal review can be found here. Now, since we focus on markups, only here markups is ticked. As you see, there are lots of formal checks we can do. For today, we concentrate on the markups. I click on OK, and I start my format check for the file. Complete. The information, very nice. We're fine here. We did a good job. With this format check, we will really get off lightly. I have prepared a file which shows more situations where maybe the format check will stop and gives us a message. Another project now. I will open my second project. No, for now I don't want to save here. Open the language pair. Pair is exactly the same text as we had in our first project, but I have manipulated the markups in order to show you where there might be a message. And in order to simulate the situations that you have done your translation, you're probably convinced, hey, I did not forget anything. My markups from the target, my translation, they correspond to the source. And maybe there is a surprise. So Transit helps us to find this out. I go to review the markups here too. Start my format check for the file. And here the format check brings us an information window. Markup B not found. Ignore. For now, we do not ignore. B stands for bold. 9 means no. Wir wachsen überall auf der Welt. So here we have to insert to assign the markup for überall. I can use the same method as before. I just press Ctrl+1 to the cursor to the right, and here we go. No, there is no big deal for this. I do a right mouse click and start the formatting. Codes check again. Window brings markup U, which stands for underlined, was added to the target file. Ignore. By accident, I have added a completely new markup, which is not in the source. How can I do this? Formatting options here. We can do so if my target language requires this. We can insert additional markups which do not even exist in the source. Transit is flexible for this, since this can be due to the target language. In this case, I just want to show you how to delete this. I've just placed my cursor here, and I press delete. We continue. I hope you notice that this message looks different than the ones we had before. Transit makes a difference between markups, which can be language dependent, as we seen before. Bold, italics, underlined, superscript markups, they are really flexible. Transit even would allow us to ignore. But here, there is a markup ID missing, which means a footnote. And it's not found, and we are asked insert. And in this case, we can press yes and check. So Transit inserts it for us, and it stays there at this very segment, and we can check if the position is correct, because Transit can only vaguely find the corresponding position. So I just click yes and check, and it puts it at the beginning. So it's a footnote. As soon as I put my cursor on it, it works. It brings me to the content of the footnote. But this is not the issue at the moment. What can we do now? We need to have it here. Colors here. Just do like Control 1, and put it there. I hope you have noticed we have not duplicated it. We just have moved it. Yeah? These kind of markups can never be duplicated because they are language independent. We need them only once to have that Farben has this footnote. Okay, let's continue here. Codes check. Aha. Now, markup bold not found. Bold. No, we don't ignore for the moment. Here we go. If we do not, if we want that Transit helps us to find out what is missing, we could also use the markup mode. F9. F9. Transit highlights the first one. And we just have to assign the translation. We don't have to think about what exactly is it. For now we see it. It's italics and bold. But we just have to know that groß is the translation of big and press F11. And here we go. Yeah, you can vary. Use the method which is the most appropriate for you. We continue. Start formatting codes check. Markup superscript not found. Ignore. No. It is this markup which is missing. It is the first. Don't have this. I have translated this with ersten, so we don't need this markup. Really ignore, leave it as it is, or indicate here explicitly, hey, this was done on purpose. I really do not need this. So what you can do here is just start the markup mode and press Control F11. This means that this markup is left out on purpose. Corresponding icon here in our markup assignment mode is this one. And next. So you can ignore or just do an empty and next here. And tell Transit explicitly that you don't need this markup. Let's continue. Oh, no. We wanted to continue not with the translation, but with the markup mode. Okay, I just go somewhere and start the formatting codes check again. Here we go. I'm sorry. Format check. It's a big message again. And it tells us that the IDX stands for index is not found. And do we want to insert this? And we can say yes and check and let Transit do it for us, or we could also just cancel here and it's the index here and I just put it in with Control 1. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I am just not really fit today. Okay, so here we have inserted the markup for the index. Or, of course, we can use also the markup mode to insert it. I press F9 since I want to concentrate here on one segment. And Transit shows me green and grün. This looks good. And now I can just go has this index. Oh, and this is missing. So I just press either F11 or if I am here in the mode, I just can use assign and next. Yellow, this is fine. and I just go to the next, and the markup mode turns off. You can vary with your methods. No problem here. Again, I'm sorry. Start formatting codes check. Again, a big message. Here, we say yes and check. And this is the wrong position. We go to allergisch, since allergic is the source, and we just can use and the markup ID number and the cursor to the right and insert it. Continue with the formatting codes check. Again, a big message. It's a field missing, which is not language independent. We are asked, shall Transit insert this for us? We can click yes and check. And Transit, in this case, is even able to put it on the correct position. This is the formatting codes check interactively. Transit goes through the file or the files and checks for each segment if the formatting codes are correct, if the markups are assigned correctly. And now it brings us the message, the check is complete. Let me show you just again. Messages coming up. When we do the formatting codes check interactively, we have this one. It's for language dependent markups like bold, italics, underlines. And the big one where I do not have an ignore here, we have an insert here. This is for markups which really need to be taken care of. So we have a small information message for formatting, which may change in the target language. And we have a big message for important markups in the text, which need to be taken care of. This is basically the two messages you can receive when you do the formatting codes check. And now you know how important it is to react or not react and correct the translation. Okay, let me show you another method. Language pair, and I do not save it because I want to use it again. Now I go all the way to the top and the formatting check interactively. You can also get an overview first. I click on here, start, and we have here this option, update error display. And if I click here, it's the check, but does not stop, but it gives us the result here in the file navigation window. At this window so far, that's why I have it floating in and out. I need it, that's why I pin it. Okay. And what all these topics you see here, they correspond with the options here. Okay. So we all just have markups here ticked. Exclusively check the markups, and when I open up here the plus, Transit has found something here and a whole range of missing markups. The advantage of working with the error display is I double click here to the segment. I can compare. Können. This is too much, so I can delete like this. Missing markup. I double click here for the bold. I go to the segment, I see, all over is formatting in bold. I can mark, press Control 1, and here we go. Or missing markup ID. This is quite a huge one which is missing. They can have all kinds of colors. Put my footnote here and press Control 1 and insert it. Check them. This really does not matter. And you can always insert them and delete them right then and there. And you can always use Control and the corresponding ID number to insert them. You can also have the markup mode, inserting missing markups, that you don't have to go like this from one situation to the other and go there, or do the formatting codes check interactively and then get rid of the message, go into the segment and do whatever is needed. You can also have the markup mode help you to insert missing ones. Markup mode always here in the tab Processing here. And when I click here, this triangle, use the markup mode even to help me to point to those segments where are markups missing. I can do this before I do the formatting codes check. So, highlights what is missing. Need to mark here. Groß is the translation. And press F11. Always, when I work with the markup mode, I have my F11 available for assigning the markup. Always. Here we have the situation where we don't need the markup from the source. That we on purpose do not need this. So we just press Control F11 to mark this markup as empty and next. Here, allergic is missing. I click on here, press my F11, and here we go. Oh, this one is missing. And I just press F11, and here we go. This might be a rather convenient method of checking are all the markups there, and Transit highlights what is missing, and you only have to assign. So you see, there are more than one way to achieve quality assurance for markup. No matter which method you use, if you insert them with Control and the markup ID number, or by means of the help of the markup mode, the assignment is rather simple, and they're always deletable, and they're always you are always able to insert them again. And for the review, for the formal check, there is, well, it is up to you. If you want to check interactively, do so. The messages help you to know this is very important markup I really need to take care of, or all the others like bold, italics, and underline, they can be language. Transit is rather flexible in dealing with those. Then, if you want to use the markup assignment mode to insert just the missing ones, this is up to you. You will mix up the